Welcome to Metaphysical Soul Speak. I'm your host, Elena Fox Starks. Hi guys, I hope that you are doing well right now, whenever and wherever you are when you're listening to this recording, that you don't let life drag you down too far, and that you allow yourself to feel and experience the joys as they come along. You know, it's a rough world, man. I'm trying to adjust to the newfound energy, and I've had a really tumultuous day. Not a lot of you listened to the show yesterday, so I'm going to let you guys in on a secret if you didn't listen or you don't want to hear that book, which I do highly recommend because it's excellent information. But so during the show, the recording yesterday, my 12th chakra opened up 100% while I'm recording the show. And I mean, I finished out the first chapter. I read 2 chapters, and then I added that to the show, and I just sat in meditation for a minute, and it's like, it was incredible energy, and I felt immediately my energy expand out. You know how we have like an aura and it extends out a couple feet. Well, everything is now intact, like the Palladian said a few days ago. And everything kind of came together in my aura and in the spheres around my body, which I didn't know was going to happen. And now my energy is way bigger than my apartment. And I think it's like going into my energy field is extending into other people's apartments. It feels really, really funky and really weird. And I'm going to tell you guys the top 10 things I've noticed so far about having 12 chakras fully open and functional. When the 12th chakra opened, there's a lot of surprises that came with it. So the first one was that I had this sense that there's a real possibility that magic will be much easier to perform, like actually doing real magic. I mean, this includes having more energetic power, and eventually the idea of performing miracles the way that all the masters did and Jesus did. I feel like it's going to take a lot of time and a lot of practice. It might take years, and I have to unlock the secrets, but I have a feeling that I'm going to learn how to do that, and I'm going to have the access to the information now that I've opened up all the chakras. But it didn't come right away. I wasn't like levitating and floating around the room or anything like that. Darn it. And no red licorice this morning. Darn it. But I'm going to learn how to do it and see if it can happen. But okay. Number 2 is I saw a way last night how to heal others like way faster using kind of an x-ray vision that I saw from my astral sight, which thank God I had read that about in that book. I was having the energy of that, and then I read it in the book, and I was like, whoa. I mean, I had, like, when I stopped after the first chapter, I think that part was in the second chapter about the astral sight, and I like experienced it, and then a few minutes later I went back into the book, and I was like, whoa, I just experienced that. I was blown away by that book. It really blew my mind. That's why it was so long, because I had to do the after comments, because I was just like, wow. But I looked into my friend's mother's aura from an astral perspective, and I saw the energy of stagnation, of being completely filled with grief and sorrow that she had not ever released and that she'd been holding on for years. And I found out that her husband had separated from her and then he died. And she just ended up never getting that closure and just completely harboring the resentments of having been left. And then, so everything that I thought, that when I looked into her aura, and then she's like a 10-hour bus ride away from here. So it's not like I was in the room with her. I was seeing her aura into her aura from here, like a whole nother part of the country. And it was just super easy. So I did notice it like that. So I saw the way to heal her was through examining her emotions and what she needs to deal with in order to get out the disease of what's in her actual body. And then I was also given information automatically. I just said, what will help her? And then I just saw it, like the ingredients sitting on a table that she needed to put in a bath to take a nice hot bath, that would help to heal her grief and sorrow. And I just saw everything. It was just like, it was in a flash. It was just, before it was like, I would get one ingredient and then I'd get a few more minutes, I'd get another one. And now it's suddenly just boom. Now I know all of the things that will help the person. I've never been a medical intuitive. I've sometimes gotten flashes for people, but not like yesterday. I mean, I saw her whole body. I was able to scan it. I mean, I could scan it for several minutes. It wasn't like a flash and a quick intuition like usual. So my psychic abilities increased immediately when my 12th chakra opened up. So number 3, when it opened up 100% and I was aware, oh my God, it just woke up. My 100% of my chakra is open and starting to spin. And when that started, my energy was so big and so powerful in my apartment that it woke up my sleeping adolescent in the other room. He'd been in bed already a couple hours, and it just woke him right up, right out of bed. And it sparked his opening his 8th chakra today. He was like, Mom, something freaking happened. I don't know what's happening. And then I told him what the chakras do and what they're for. And I'm like, do you have this one yet? Are you hearing the voice of God yet? And he's like, no, because he still thinks I'm a liar, that's not true. I mean, because if you don't know, you don't know, right? And it just sounds like someone's crazy when they say they can hear the voice of God or telepath with other beings. If you don't have that chakra opened up, you're not going to know it's real. You're just going to think like, well, you're probably just crazy. You know, you either believe it blindly or you experience it, and then you're like, oh, all right, this is real. But after a while, you know, once I explained to him the chakras, he's like, oh, I'm on the 8th chakra. That's the one. That just opened, and I'm like really feeling it. I'm feeling really weird, but I feel this positive vibe energy, but I'm feeling like super energetic, like physically and in all the different ways. And then he came to me an hour after that, and he said, okay, Mom, this is the other weird thing that's happening, is now that my chakra opened, my kundalini is rising, and it's like to like my third eye, like it's coming all the way up. Like it's like I know it's my kundalini, and it feels really freaking weird, but it feels good. I'm feeling that and my chakra. I'm like, wow. I mean, he's 16, and most people don't open their kundalini until they're, 40, if ever. So my energy field started sparking his energy field, and it started bringing up his intense spiritual, major spiritual happenings. And when my kundalini rose, 2 hours after mine rose, my husband's rose. Mine sparked his. So when you're near somebody when this happens, it will spark your own. And it happens. So number 4, my healing technique of myself, I always try to clear my body, clear my mental, emotional body. And I've been telling you guys that for months, how I do it. And it doesn't really work anymore. It drags my energy down, and I can't do it anymore. Whereas before it was I just drain it into the earth. I'd feel really good, and I'd feel the light from the sky, from the higher realms, higher planes into my body, and then I'd feel whole again. And now I'm realizing the energy has to flow in a different way. So I'm trying to learn how it flows, but I'm noticing that it's flowing forward and backwards and also to the sides instead of up and down. I don't know if this is temporary. I don't know what's going on exactly, but I have to learn a new healing technique to heal myself. And also, and what worked before doesn't work now. And last night after I finished the show, I was having an asthma attack, and God showed me all of the emotions in all my chakras. I think that happened in between my reading of the chapters. I took about an hour off because I was like, oh, this energy is too intense. And so I saw the bits and pieces of where my asthma was, how it was connected to every one of my 7 chakras in my body. It's survival, because every time you have an asthma attack, you might not survive. And I actually have died a couple times from asthma, and I had to be revived. So obviously there's issues with that, and there's issues with identity, because you feel sickly and you're not good enough to run and play like the other kids when you're a little kid. So part of your identity gets wrecked when you have asthma, because you just feel like you're not really a worthwhile or worthy or useful person. If there's an emergency, I couldn't pick somebody up and run with them on my back. I don't feel strong. I feel weak. So it really screws with your energy in that way, in your identity, ego. And it messes with your heart. The medicine can create adrenal and heart problems. And I have edema, which might be a part from the medicine. The medicine saves your life, but at the same time, it robs you of your life slowly over time. And I'm on prednisone now, and I've been on prednisone many times in the past couple of years. And asthma does that too, and that also weakens the system. And so it's all this crap, and it's I'm trying to unravel it one little problem at a time. I'm on the keto diet, which is supposed to unravel a lot of this stuff, but it hasn't quite happened yet. And so God was showing me this, how it affects every, you don't have a voice. You feel like you can't breathe, you can't talk. When you talk, there's wheezes, and you feel like you don't really have a real voice, and you probably shouldn't talk. So it affects the throat chakra. It didn't affect, thank you God, my brow. I'm able to have my psychic vision, and my intuitiveness, thank you, was always there. And my crown, that didn't affect that. But God was showing me all the different chakras in which the asthma was closely linked and tied. And the fear, the intense, powerful fear of, I'm probably going to die right now. And then this sad sorrow, grief sort of feeling comes up, where I wonder if anyone's actually going to cry if I die. Will they care? Will they miss me? Am I going to be a footnote on Facebook, and people put a little sad face, and then 2 days later they're going to forget all about me, like I didn't exist? Am I really important at all to the world? It pulls up all these energy, there's all these things, that goes through. And then, so God was showing me how to heal it. He was showing me this technique of how to pull the energy out of every chakra as it's tied to my asthma. And as I did that last night, this technique, all of a sudden my lungs were clear, more clear than if I had taken my inhaler. So, but then today again, I had a worse asthma attack, and a lot of really weird crap happened to me. That's why I'm really, really, really late on getting this out. But, and that leads me really right into, 5. My emotions have been extremely raw. You could tell my voice is shaking. I've been crying for hours. I'm very, it doesn't frickin' help that the moon is in Cancer, which is the most emotional, watery, emotional energy that there is. Out of all the things the moon could be in right now, it just came out of Gemini. And now it's in Cancer, and I just feel like every little thing, like I'm sensitive and my emotions are raw, and every little thing that anyone has said to me today has felt like really like a personal affront or an attack, even though I know it wasn't. I just feel like completely attacked, like I've been backed into a corner today. And it's only because of the energy flow of what's happening. It's like everything is in flux and changing. And I know it's not, that I'm not really being attacked, but my body feels like it's being attacked. So I've been shaking like a person with Parkinson's disease, like shaking really bad. And my voice is even shaky right now from it. So there's that. And then number 6, I've been forced to deal with all of my old stuff, all of my patterns, all of my lost loves, all of the times that people have robbed me or, taken my things or taken my money or taken my stuff from storage. I mean, I've gone through a lot of pretty major losses with material stuff, which hurt me in really strange ways. It affected me in really strange ways. I'm not over some of those, and hurts from the past, people who have hurt me, a lot of narcissists that have gone out of their way to really ruin my life for their own pleasure of watching somebody suffer. All the times I was disrespected, old habits that no longer serve me, and being guilty about those habits, being guilty about things I did in the past, or feeling a deep shame for not being a better mother, for maybe not being a better daughter or a better friend at times. All of those hurts and regrets. So imagine if you had to be forced to deal with every single thing like this. Emotional patterns, thought patterns, things that you went against yourself. But I've been I was forced because the 12th chakra opened. I have had to deal with all of them all at one time. So like my mind with the ADHD is like racing through all of these thoughts of all these things. And I like couldn't breathe. And that's one of the reasons I'm shaking. Like PTSD, I have really, really bad trauma from my past that even though most of the trauma has been healed, there's still some that I'm dealing with. And because of it, it's like I'm shaking and scared. I've been sitting here in fear for like 4 hours. Like, what the hell? Like, I was feeling so much love yesterday. Now here I'm feeling the fear, which is insane. Like, even in the Course in Miracles lesson yesterday, I was talking about this. So it's like, what the hell? Like, I know intellectually, I know better. But I also am being faced with all of everything I've ever had to deal with. And it's across all of my timelines, all of the lower vibrational timelines. I'm having to deal with the emotions, and some of the stuff I'm not even aware consciously of, but I feel the emotions of it. Like, I don't know where it comes from. But right when this opened, so now it's been 24 hours since it opened, and I'm almost over dealing with this stuff, but it's like I've had to deal with it all at once. I've been bawling my head off. I feel like somebody died. I feel like somebody died that I loved. I mean, I got panicky, and I wrote to my oldest son, like, "Are you okay?" And I thought something had happened to him. And I kind of really feel like something happened to my stepfather. And I'm not sure. I can't prove it. I have no way of checking. I don't think anyone has the number of his roommate, and he lives all by himself there now because my sister moved to New York, and I had moved to, well, now I'm in Ecuador, but for a while I was in Detroit. And I don't know. It's just so strange. It's like, I have a feeling something happened to him. I feel like somebody that I really loved died. I don't know if it's him or him and somebody else. I feel like there was a tragedy. I know I did read in Albania today there was a 5.6 earthquake. Anyway, a lot of people died and people were scrambling out of their homes. So please send prayers to people of Albania. I think I've been possibly, well, I'm going to get to that in a minute, but so I'm having to deal with all these emotions all at once, having to face myself all at once, which, you know, on a good day, no one wants to face one thing about themselves that's not pretty, right? You know, or emotionally messy. No one wants to face one thing, but what if you had like 150 things and you had to face them all at once, you know? I don't know if I had that many. I'm just randomly saying a number, but even if it's 20 things, it's overwhelming. So that's happening. But I also noticed that it all comes up and then I cry and then I can take a deep breath and then all of a sudden it just releases all at once. And then another layer of it will come up and then I release it all at once. So even though I have to face all of it at once, it's also easier to let it go than it was before. So at least there's that silver lining. And so the other thing is, okay, number 7, I do have a sense of newfound power, but it comes with a really urgent sense of responsibility. And I feel like I have to check and double check before I think any thoughts, anything that I want to do. I'm like, I have to really focus on my energy. What's my energy right now? What is that good for everybody involved? Like, I feel like I'm more of a sense of responsibility than I ever did before. So there's like a spiritual maturity that took place. It's like, you know, like the day you turn 18, you're like, I'm a man now, or I'm a woman now, and I'm an adult. And all of a sudden it's like spiritual adulting out of nowhere. And okay, so number 8 was energy management is really, really strange. It's hard to breathe, not just from the emotional thing, but it's been really hard for me to catch my breath. And it's been hard because I feel really just strange, woozy, nauseated. It's really bringing me a lot of nausea. I'm feeling it's hard to think. It's hard to function. My eyesight keeps going in and out. It's hard for me to I get so cold that I start to shiver and shake like I'm like about to get hypothermia, and then 20 minutes later I'm burning up and sweating, and I'm not sick. I'm like feeling my head right now just to make sure no fever, not sick. It's the 12th chakra, and it's like all of the energies of all the chakras are being affected. My aura is being affected, and it's really, really, really affecting my physical body. And I'm just shaking like hell. And there's that. The hot, cold, which I've been going through for a while from the ascension symptoms. But then this feels like this is just from that chakra opening. Number 9, it's been easier to tap into the emotions of others all around me in the neighborhood. I can feel everyone, all their emotions, but I'm like a freaking sponge. I'm an empath, and I've always been doing that, which is why I avoid going outside of my apartment most days. You know, like once a week I'll leave the apartment. Like something maybe twice a week I'll go down to the store next door or something, but I have been having a hard time feeling everyone's emotions and raw, you know, just icky emotions from people, and I've been just absorbing it and then like transforming it. But if you're an empath, beware when you open your 12th chakra, man. Oh, you're gonna think you might not have been an empath before, but you sure as shit are now. I mean, to the 1000th power. Number 10 is, you know, there's a sense of spiritual gullibility, or a sense of spiritual naivete when it comes to like spiritual milestones. Like the first time you're able to meditate for 20 minutes, or the first time you make it to an hour, when you're just a newbie and you're opening up to your spiritual stuff and you're like, I meditate for an hour, maybe am I a spiritual master yet? Are we there yet? And then when you make it to 2 hours, it's like, oh, I'm getting closer to being a spiritual master. And then when you get to 4 hours, you're like, oh, that was nothing. I'm doing this now. Any day I'm going to be fully enlightened. Any day it's happening. Are we there yet? The spiritual, are we there yet? And then you keep going and going and going. Then you become aware of your chakras, and you open up all your chakras, all 7 chakras, and they spin all at the same time. And you start to get younger and you start to feel good. And then you're like, are we there yet? Is this what enlightenment is? And then you raise your kundalini and you get it all the way to your crown chakra. And then you feel the fountain of the kundalini that's flowing all around you. And you become aware of your own magnetic energy field. And your force field grows and expands. And you go, oh, maybe now I'm a spiritual master. Am I there yet? And then after a while you realize, no, not yet. And then you come into contact with the idea that you are a twin flame, and your twin flame's incarnate, and you meet up with your twin flame or your near twin. Even when I met my near twin, I thought he was my twin at the time. And okay, now I'm with him, and now my energy is growing, and my psychic ability is growing. And am I there yet? No, not really a master yet. And all the crap I went through, moving all the way to South America, Central America, then back to North America, and then down to South America, and then traveling and being forced into a position where like random stray animals were coming up and lining in a line sometimes, waiting for me to heal them one by one, and realizing that I'm becoming a spiritual healer for animals. And in Colombia, one by one, the people came, and I had to heal the people there. But am I a spiritual master? Are we there yet? No, I don't feel like I was still getting angry. I was still having negative emotions. I was still having arguments with my kids. I don't feel like we're there yet. And for years, I've been just traveling around and releasing hundreds of thousands of spirits and ghosts and the spirits of slaves that suffered at the hands of horrible men all up and down Peru and Ecuador. And are we there yet? No, I still don't feel like I'm there yet. I'm not there. And then I realized, oh, well, I have more than 7 chakras. I've got 12. So, I opened up my, 8th. Are we there yet? I could go to the grid. I could go to the star chakra, the star, soul star grid, and I could go talk to people. Well, still doesn't mean I'm enlightened. I'm now, and then I, open up my 9th and 10th chakra. I'm talking to God. I'm channeling beings from other planets. Am I there yet? Am I a spiritual being yet? Am I a master of light yet? No, I'm not. And then I finally opened the 11th chakra, and I realized I have the ability now to love everybody on earth. Even if I don't like them personally, I still love them. And I love everything on earth. Trees, bees, plants, just everything, people, even the jerk offs and the wife beaters, I don't want to ever talk to them. I still want to shove their head through a wall sometimes, but I don't hate them anymore. And I love them, on an impersonal level. But are we there yet? I love everybody. Jesus said to, I finally do. I heeded his words. I do that. Am I a spiritual master? And am I enlightened yet? No, we're not freaking there yet. But okay, keep going. And now I open up my 12th chakra, and my aura is huge. And I have a feeling, I tried a little bit to talk to my twin flame, to touch his energy with my energy. And I know that he hasn't opened his 12th chakra yet, but it's right around the corner. We're not like twin particles of each other. We don't spark each other from a distance, because we're on individual spiritual paths with divine free will. We don't spark each other. We only spark people near us, not our twins. So I'm waiting for him. But I opened my 12th chakra, and am I there yet? Am I a spiritual enlightened master? Absolutely freaking not. Not yet. I literally, number 10 on my list is knowledge that no, I am not yet a spiritual master. I'm not enlightened totally. I don't know everything there is to know. I'm not managing this energy very well right now. I will get the handle of it. I will get the hang of it. I will get it. It's just when you get newfound powers or newfound abilities, it's really weird and hard to deal with at first. And then you get, after a few weeks, it's like, becomes like an old habit and it's fine. But right now, no, not at all. I'm well on my way, well on my path. But to be honest with you, even after all this spiritual growing I've done for 33 years and even longer since I was a kid, but actively on the spiritual path for 33 years, am I there yet? I don't even know where there is anymore. I don't feel like I'm even close. And it's funny and ironic that when I was meditating, I felt like, oh, it's just right around the corner. When my Kundalini rose 19 and a half years ago, it's been risen for 19 years. I thought, oh, I'm a spiritual master now. Are we there? We did it. We made it. We're masters. And my husband looked at me, and when his rose, and after his was done being risen, he opened his eyes finally, and he looked at me, and I'm like, are we there yet? Are we enlightened? Is that what this is? Are we spiritual masters? And he just looked at me, and he burst out laughing, and his face turned red, and he couldn't stop laughing for like 15 or 20 minutes. And I started laughing, and he goes, well, it's like, you know, the money thing. If you have to ask, you can't afford it. If you have to ask, you're definitely not a freaking master of anything. Because it seems like if you are an enlightened spiritual master, you're going to damn well know it. And I'm not creating licorice in my hands right now. I'm not creating loaves and fishes for the masses. I'm not there. I'm not there at all. And now I don't even know where the hell there is. There's no damn roadmap from here. I don't know if there's going to be one. We didn't come with instructions. We came with a blueprint that's built right in, but that doesn't mean that we know, you know. Someone might deliver a microwave to your door, but if you don't know how to read, you don't know how to turn it on. I don't know. I'm not there yet. Still not there. I feel like it's right around the corner, but I've been down that foolish road before. I don't believe any of it now. I don't believe it. I kind of feel like I'm maybe not ever going to be a spiritual enlightened master. I just feel like I'm awake and that's it. I woke up and I got out of bed. I haven't even traversed across the floor, let alone brushed my spiritual teeth. And so with all this lovely newfound whatever the hell this is, I'll keep you guys updated, but I knew there was going to come a day in which I was completely rejected by everybody I knew. And I was. Some people didn't reject me, but they're dead now. The people that didn't reject me. The people that were always true and good and loyal and good friends, my support people, they're all dead now. So, I don't know. I mean, both of my children rejected me today. It doesn't mean they're not going to come around tomorrow or in a week or in a year, but my youngest, he gets emotional and I love him so much. And I know I'm a difficult person to live with, especially when I'm going through this weird stuff. And I had this massive panic attack and I just started to freak out about my life and all of the things that weren't working. Whereas 2 days ago, I think I was telling you guys on my show how I felt so positive, light, and wonderful. But I was going through this thing where I had to purge. I had to emotionally purge all of the things that I felt negative all at once, and it was freaking me out, panicking me, and I couldn't explain it to him. And he just said, I'm leaving and I might be back tomorrow. I'm going to my friend's house to spend the night, and he just took off. And I just felt like a total rejection. Like I could have been having a damn heart attack and I could be dead by the time he comes back. And I just felt really rejected. And then I didn't want to lay anything heavy at all on my oldest son. I just said, hey, I just want to make sure you're okay. And then he put this massive long speech about how he doesn't really want to hang out with me or see me, because I've been asking if I could come for like weeks. I've been asking if I could come there and see him, and it was a massive rejection. He's like, I just need my space from you. And I knew that was going to come. I knew it. I chose a life theme before I was born of rejection. And the only reason a person would do this is because apparently I'm a complete freaking moron. My last life on earth and everyone rejects me, you know? But I think it's why, the reason is that I don't want to come back to earth. And if I experience this amount of pain, I won't be attached any longer to this planet when I do leave. And also, I'm not going to, I can't turn to anybody because nobody is there anymore. So the life theme of rejection frickin' sucks, and I don't recommend it for anybody. But the greater your grief and sorrow over humans rejecting you, the stronger your connection and bond with the one will, the divine, the prime creator, expands and opens up, because that becomes your only source of love. I mean, I get my youngest kid, I might get about 3 hugs a month. They do say that in order to maintain your physical health, you're supposed to get about 8 to 12 hugs per day. I get about 2 or 3 per month if I'm lucky. But I mean, I've gone as much as like 6 to 9 months without a hug from anybody. Like at all, period. I'm celibate. I don't really date. Another bizarre thing that I don't know if it has to do with this or not, so I didn't put on my list, but another really freaking weird thing is today, 2 people that I don't know added me on Facebook and sent me really graphic nude videos of themselves, 2 men, saying that they really love my energy and want to be with me. And they're both really super good looking men and young. And I'm like, what the hell? What the hell? What the hell is this? Like, why do you think that's okay? It's like sexual harassment. And I'm not a spiritual master, but I'm enlightened enough to know that that's not okay. That's just not freaking okay. And why the hell do people think that's okay? Nobody wants to see a penis. And if they did, there's free porn. We don't need to see yours. Like, you know, it's like, no one wants to see that. Put it away. Put it away, man. Put the gun back in the holster, cowboy. No one wants to fucking see that. It's yuck. It's energetically yucky, you know? Even if your body is perfect, it's just energetically gross. It's base, you know? And I mean, these people live 4.5 hours away, and I'm like, did my energy field extend freaking 4.5 hours away? And oh, I like your energy. Moths to a flame, but the point is they're moths. Don't ever brag about being the flame in the moths to the flame allegory, because it means you're attracting moths. I don't know if it had anything to do with this or not, but I'm like, that's really freaking weird ass timing. Like, what the hell? I don't want to see that. I just don't. I mean, if I wanted to see that, I'd be like, hey, is it okay? Can you just like whip out your penis and send me a video of you? Like, come on. Like, no woman ever said that. I mean, it's like, what the hell? Like, it's so base and so gross. And I have nothing against, you know, the naked man body, and especially young, hot, amazing guys that are just begging to be my lover. But I don't, it's like, It's not in my aura. It's not in my energy field where I'm like, ooh, I really want to, ooh, la, 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 la. I want to go have sex with a stranger and, pick up all his negative energy and for the next 10 years as an empath. I mean, I'm keeping myself pure for my twin flame. I want to be worthy to be able to accept the love from my twin flame, and I want to be respectful and loving, and I want a loving, beautiful, wonderful, respectful relationship, and I don't want to just be, in these guys, I'm like, okay, let me try to fix something that's going wrong in their minds. Like, you have more to offer a woman than your body. What does your mind have to say? And all they're talking about is sexual stuff, and it's like, dude, no, like, what are your hopes and dreams? Well, I hope to be with you, baby. I hope to be at your side. I want to maybe marry you someday. Maybe we'll fall in love. And then they start talking about romantic things. And it's like, wow, that's your only ambition, is to have sex with a stranger and maybe marry her down the line. Why the insanity? It's insane. That's insanity, right? Am I wrong? I mean, it just seems like that is completely crazy. What possesses people? We're in this really bizarre dichotomy, like where we're going way the hell up into the fifth dimension, and yet some people, I don't know if that's what if they're trying to hold on to the sense of who they think they are. I mean, is this just the Latin lover energy coming out? The archetype of the, when I moved to Ecuador, I mentioned, like, I think in January, February, I moved to Ecuador, and there was a report that I ran across when I was looking up something in Ecuador. And apparently there was a study done around the world where men were asked about their penis size, how long it is. And it was a scientific study, but it was all self-reported. So men in Japan reported 2 inches, and men in Ecuador reported 8 or 9 inches, something like that. But as it turns out, in all the different countries, you could see it on a freaking map. You could go look this up. It's like, hey, well, I'm kind of more into the 6 to 7 inch range, so hey, I'll go to that country over there. It's like the most insane. It's just insanity. All of it's insanity. But in Ecuador, they have the biggest ones. Well, I didn't know that when I moved here. It wasn't why I moved. I mean, I knew they had anacondas in the jungle, but I mean, I didn't know about the other thing. And then I read that and I was like, oh my God, what the hell? And it explains so much that, they say men think with their dicks. Well, the men here, it's like their brains aren't in their dicks. They're just dicks. That's all they are. It's all they think about. Romance and sex, and then marriage, and then they get married and they go off and use their dick with other people. I have a couple friends here, and one of them hasn't been cheated on yet, but the other one did. Otherwise, she didn't cheat, but her husband cheated on her. And it's a very, very common thing. And I was trying to find true love when I first got here. My first year, I talked to 105 men, and out of 105 men, 95 wanted to cheat on their wives and girlfriends. I was like blown away by that. I rejected 95 men. I wouldn't even meet them in person because of that. And then the rest, I didn't meet most of them. I only met maybe 5 or 6 men out of the whole 105 that I interviewed. And out of those, one was completely crazy. He detailed his suicide plan. He drew a map on a freaking napkin in the restaurant we were in of where he's going to kill himself. I'm like, wow, thank you for that topic on our first date. And then he's like, I hate relationships. I'm like, why the hell are we here? Obviously, because he's freaking crazy, and I don't know. He needed someone as a witness in case he disappears. Another guy licked my face. I told him I wasn't interested in him. But he said, well, let's just have coffee, whatever. And then he's like, well, I'm going to hug you. I'm like, all right, just as friends. He's like, yeah, not a problem. And then he licked my face. He licked his tongue, my nose, my eyeball. I had PTSD for a week after that. I kept washing my face repeatedly. I'm a Virgo. You don't do that crap to a Virgo. I mean, crazy. And I met a guy who wouldn't get out of the truck. Couldn't even get out of the damn truck. Honked his horn. I'm like, why am I even getting in the truck with this guy? But we were supposed to go have a coffee together. We drove by the restaurant. He stopped. He pointed at it and goes, that's where you get coffee if you want coffee in this neighborhood. And then he kept driving. He drove me right back to my apartment. I'm like, I guess that was a rejection. I don't know. He showed me where he lives in case I ever want to go knock on his door. Which, after that, why would I want to? So he was also crazy. I mean, I don't know. It's so confusing. The men, the culture here, it confuses the hell out of me. It confuses the hell out of me. And men that say that they're interested in you, and then you say, oh, I'm not looking for a relationship. I really don't want that right now. I don't want to start another karmic cycle. Birth, redeath. I don't want to do that anymore. Redeath, rebirth, whatever. Death, rebirth, whatever. Anyway. And they go, oh, okay, well, let's just go out as friends then. And then, like, after a while, they're like, well, let's be friends that, bum, 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 bum. It's like, no brown chicken, no brown cow. I don't want to do that. Brown chicken, brown cow. I'm not going to do it. I'm so confused by the men here. And I'm really confused at why I opened my energy field so flippin' wide. The 12 chakras open, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to be free. I'm going to fly. Why are people sending me their dicks? What the hell? Why? What? How did I attract that energy with this energy? So I'm confused by it. All right. Schumann resonance in Italy. Basically, all it says, a few peaks around 20 hertz, during the day, and then 25 hertz was reached at 9:30 in the morning, and the activity is continuing, but that was it, 25. The Heart Math Institute says, sorry, this data is temporary, unavailable. For 3 hours I've been trying, and it's just unavailable. All right. Before I get into A Course in Miracles, and we are at 99 on the Ascension Symptom Scale, if you haven't noticed. Yesterday we're at 97. I wrote it down in the thing. I don't think I talked about it on the show. And I am always going to write it in the description. In case I forget, it's always there. All right. We're at 99 today. I wanted to ask for prayers to go out to Aaron Eisenberg's family today. He had a couple kidney transplants in the past year or two. He was the man who played Nog, the Ferengi, the very famous Ferengi on Deep Space Nine, which is a Star Trek offshoot show. One of my favorite shows. It was a very weird show, and I love it very much. I haven't even watched all of them. I'm actually watching them on Netflix. Every now and again I catch one of those. But the guy who played Nog, the beloved Ferengi who ran the bar right on Deep Space Nine, he was only 50 years old. Last year on December 28th, he and his wife eloped, and they were madly in love, and they didn't tell anybody. And now he's died, and they were just trying to save the money up to throw a big party and to surprise everybody. And they didn't get a chance because he died. So love and light go out to him tonight. A lot of people, Jerry Ryan, Roddenberry, Gene Roddenberry, who created Star Trek, his son, a lot of people, all the Star Trek family of all the different Star Trek shows have been pouring their hearts out to him, because when they do the Star Trek sci-fi conventions, all the people, all the characters, the actors get to know each other, and they all become friends. They're like the Star Trek family, because it's a very special show and a series of shows, and they're just so well loved, and so they're all like grieving. So please send love and light to all the Star Trek family, and especially to Aaron Eisenberg's family. All right. Probably this lesson's gonna have some big fat meaning to me now that I'm going through the thing I'm going through. So we'll see what it has to say. Lesson 104. in A Course in Miracles, acim.org, or download an app if you want to study the lessons on your own. I do not read the full lesson. I'm just reading part. The main idea for today, because it's a high vibration and I love it, is this. I seek but what belongs to me in truth. I seek but what belongs to me in truth. Today's idea continues with the thought that joy and peace are not but idle dreams. They are your right because of what you are. They come to you from God, who cannot fail to give you what He wills. Yet there must be a place made ready to receive His gifts. They are not welcomed gladly by a mind that has instead received the gifts it made where His belong as substitutes for them. So basically what's that saying is, your mind isn't going to welcome God's gifts if you've already replaced them with things like scarcity, poverty, consciousness, lack, fear. A lot of the old energy that I'm trying to channel out right now so that I could live the life of my dreams. Apparently freaking alone, but whatever. Oh my God, I'm so dumb. Why did I pick this life theme? It's too late to freaking change it. I haven't gone over the life themes yet, but I'm going to. I will do a show on the life themes. Sylvia Brown uncovered this life themes, and I started realizing what mine was, and oh my God, why? I'm so dumb, man. When I get to heaven, I know everyone's gonna be like, ha ha ha, they'll be pointing and laughing at me. Like, you're so stupid. Why did you pick that for your very last life, right? Maybe if I become an ascended master, they'll get the last, I'll get the last laugh, but I doubt it. I at this point, I just doubt that that's gonna even happen. Every time I hit a spiritual milestone, I'm like, ah. Even though it was like fun during the journey, now I'm like, now that I'm here, but I'm not where I thought I would be. So thought Disneyland would be so fun, but at the end of the day, at the end of Disneyland, you do nothing but go home and fucking cry for 4 hours, right? It's like, why'd you even put yourself through that crap? All right. I seek but what belongs to me in truth, and joy and peace are my inheritance. I seek what belongs to me in truth. God's gift of joy and peace are all I want. Those are other ideas and ways to look at this. Lay aside the conflicts of the world that offer other gifts and other goals made of illusions, witnessed to by them, and sought for only in a world of dreams. So again, the basic idea, I seek but what belongs to me in truth. So there it is. I'm trying to channel these emotions so that I can. Yeah, so I already talked about the astrology where the moon is in Cancer. We have to wait until September 28th, and that will be our new moon. I feel like it's going to be a new beginning, and I have a feeling that, well, it's going to be really, really good. It's going to be kind of reset, like a new start. It's gonna be like a new start for us. All right, guys, I'm gonna channel God at the end, for the second half or for the next half hour. I don't know what He's gonna say, but He said that I'm gonna be a much more clearer channel for Him, and as such, well, we're gonna see. I think it's true, but I'm gonna maybe take another 15 minutes. I'm emotionally I'm not all right. I'm a wreck, actually. Not at all right. I'm going to go grab I don't even know what, cup of tea or some stuff. Maybe I'm going to eat, and then I'm going to put this out late. I'm sorry it's so late. I love you guys. I love you very much. I'm going to be right back after this message, and I'm going to channel Prime Creator for everybody right after this. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's high time you did. It is the absolute easiest way to make a podcast. First of all, it's absolutely free. Second of all, they have creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. You guys have known that I've been doing this for 8 months using the Anchor.fm app right on my cell phone, and I have done it everywhere, right? I have recorded this in my living room, my bedroom, little cafes in Quito, Ecuador, all over Cuenca. It's so absolutely easy to make your podcast, and editing is just a snap. Anchor also will distribute your podcast for you, and it took me about 2.5 months to become syndicated, and now I'm available on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more, and so can you. You can make money from your podcast also, and there's no minimum requirement. You get paid from your very first listener. It is everything that you need to make a podcast all in one place. So please, if you are interested in making a podcast of your very own, do not hesitate to start with Anchor. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started today. Metaphysical Soul Speak is run on sponsors and listener support. This means listeners like you. If you are so inclined to support my efforts and my little podcast, please visit me at anchor.fm/metaphysical and pledge an amount of your choosing today. Thank you. All right, guys, I was going to do this as 10 things that happen when you open up your 12th chakra, but you know what? I'm going to make it even 12, so I'm going to do the last two. The one I already talked about, 11, is attracting weird energy behavior in others that are virtual strangers. I'm going to just call that the penis video picture sex talk randomly out of nowhere. I didn't go out of the house today, but I have a feeling that I might elicit bizarre behavior in other people when I go out in public. Might not be the sexual nature, but I think that it just sparks people in weird ways. And I have a feeling that when I go out, it's going to happen. I have a sense that that's going to be. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on the list. Just attracting, or it's not even attracting the weird energy, but it's more like sparking weird behavior in other people that nothing you're thinking about or wanting or nothing. It's just you're like points on people are being, so maybe these people that have the most active chakra would be like the lower 2 or 3 chakras, and so you're like sparking it. So like, oh yeah, like one of these guys I had met on Tinder like over a year ago, and we had a normal, pleasant conversation, and I thought he was a nice guy, so I gave him my Facebook, and it took him a year, and then today of all days he did that. It's like, I don't really, it's like I don't care to know him. He didn't even ask me what I do, I'm just like, why the weirdness? So anyway, and the 12th one is, and I did already mention this, but I want to put this officially on the list. Number 12 is you will get the final phase push of the life theme that you had chosen. Because again, why would the last 2 people that were in my life, like, physically here with me in my life, people that really, truly know me, and the 2 people I was dreading the most rejecting me, and they both rejected me on the same day. And that was the final piece of the puzzle. Like, I'm going to be rejected by everybody I know. That's what a life theme of rejection is. and it's different from the victim. I'm not saying I'm a victim and no, poor me. I'm just saying it just freaking sucks that I picked that. I know I picked it. I take full responsibility for having picked this as my life theme. But I don't know. Maybe I was just brave. I don't know. I remember when I first read this, I thought, oh yeah, that's true. That's totally true. And then I kind of didn't really believe it, and then my husband rejected me, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I was madly in love with him, and he rejected me, like, became extremely mean out of nowhere. It was brain cancer, but I didn't know it at the time, and definitely felt like a rejection. He would stalk me at work and threatened to kill me, and he told my little kids when they were told my 6-year-old, my 16-year-old at the time he was like 6 or just turned 7, and he was like, he's about that age, and he just, he would whisper in his ear, don't worry, pretty soon you'll never have to see your own mother again. And he get like a really sinister look in his eye, and he was grabbing my son's arm really, really hard and left a mark. And these kinds of things happened. Like, we were terrified. Absolutely terrified. I did not have a set work pattern, and I altered it, and I altered my course every day, and he would just randomly show up, and I don't know how the hell he did that. I don't know if he put a tracking device on my car. I mean, it was extremely scary. I mean, that's part of my trauma. It's part of my PTSD that I went through. And anytime I feel like someone's going to try to find out where I live, I really panic. I really, really panic. So that's part of the things I'm trying to get rid of and expulge. Expulge, is that a word? Expulse? Is that a word? Anyway, you're fired. I'm saying all my emotions. But anyway, so that's number 12 on the list, is just when you open up your 12th chakra, it is a final push, the final phase of your life theme, no matter what it is. So if it's, I mean, I thank God it wasn't a victim. I mean, maybe I would have been raped or something, It's like, thank you, God, that's not my thing. But people, some people do have like that as a life theme, and it's a lot of life themes. And then we have secondary themes, but the major life theme, at least for me, was being rejected by everybody I knew. And also, of course, I decided to be a writer, because I wanted to be rejected by a million strangers as well. From Hollywood, no less. And, I just needed to have a bunch of rejection letters on top of the personal rejections in my life. And if you're up in heaven thinking about being born on earth, don't pick this one. It's like the shittiest one to pick, just to be honest. But I mean, maybe victim would be worse. Okay, granted, I'll give you that, but I don't think there's a worse life. Maybe these two would be the worst ones. I don't know. It's all my fault too. Like I said, full responsibility, full disclosure, full responsibility, always full genuine heart with sincerity. And pure raw emotion. Anyway, I'm going to pause this for a moment and get into at least, or transcendental state. And we're going to hear from Prime Creator right now. All right, guys, I am here. I'm connected to Prime Creator. I am an indirect telepathic channel. I do not allow anyone, no matter who they say they are, to take over my body. Part of being a Virgo and picky, I guess. Picky about who gets in my body. But in all possible ways of that phrase. But God, the Prime Creator of the universe, he could take over my body if he wants, but it's free will, so he knows the deal, and it makes me feel emotionally comfortable and not. So I'm going to telepath, and if I need to ask for clarification, I do use kinesthesiology, muscle testing to check to see if something is what I'm hearing or not, I will stop and ask questions. I honestly don't know what he's going to talk about, but I think he's going to carry on with the theme of the evening about the 12th chakra, opening up and what to expect, possibly, but we'll see what he has to say. Excuse me. All right, Prime Creator of the Universe, am I connected with you? Muscle testing says yes. Okay, you may begin transmission. Hello. It is I, the first cause Prime Creator. Many of you are getting ready to experience some great things, grand things. As you go up higher and higher, your vibration raises up into the 5th chakra. 8. I'm sorry, that was so weird. I meant 5th dimension. God. I'm like having a problem in my 5th chakra at this moment. I'm like, my throat is like, sorry. I can get more into this. Okay. I'm sorry, Prime Creator, please continue talking. I'm going to go into a deeper trance that will help. As you find yourself going deeper and deeper into the 5th dimension, you're going to start to notice not only the changes in your body physically, the changes in your mind mentally. You're going to start to forget the things that were the least pleasant things that you've been through. And you're not going to mind forgetting them. You're going to feel a little bit relieved, frankly. In fact, you're going to start to forget what it felt like to have a lot of fear. This is why a lot of it will be channeled out soon. And you're going to have to still go back and re-experience it as you purge it from your body. Be aware that when you feel this, you're not falling back into a pattern. Be aware that you are not putting yourself in a position again to attract all those same energies that you did when you were in the fear patterns before. Same thing with grief, anger, any mode of energy that didn't serve your highest, best, loftiest purpose. We wish for you to understand that the undertaking that you're currently going through is a complete and total transformation. Just like the caterpillar would imagine it is a caterpillar. And it goes through excruciatingly painful changes. Even though it's asleep, there's some pain involved. And even when it wakes up, it thinks it's still a caterpillar. And it doesn't realize it's a butterfly until it gets out and feels the wind on its wings and the wetness of the wings. And he keeps thinking there's something on his back, so he wiggles a lot. And the more he'll wiggle, the more he realizes it's not falling off his back, because it is what his back is. When the butterfly realizes he's a butterfly, he walks. He flaps his wings, but he walks. He'll move his antenna around, and he gets very curious about everything, and he doesn't understand what happened, and he only has a vague memory of having been shaped like a worm and only able to walk before, but his feet were even different. His feet were heavier, more clumsy, and sticky. But when he is transformed into a butterfly, his legs and feet become very thin and covered with a fine filament like little hairs that will help him to adhere to surfaces, especially when the wind is blowing more, because his wings will lift him up in the wind. So he just needs a different set of feet, just like humans need different pairs of shoes for different activities or events. The butterfly needs a different set of feet. The butterfly is grateful that he's still alive at the end of his ordeal. And he sees his wings, and they're like his colorful reward for having gone through all the pain and all the changes and doing all of the transformative work. And yet the butterfly would never think for a moment to brag about his beautiful wings. He humbly accepts the beauty of what he has become. So filled with life and color, and he brings so much joy to people and to other creatures that see him. And he doesn't quite understand what happened. And he doesn't even realize that he's a powerful, deeply spiritual and profound symbol of change and transformation, and that what he does through his own personal nature to do, what is his want, need, urge, and sense of nature to do. He has no idea that he's inspiring all of the higher life forms that see him. Even bears in the field get so happy when they see a butterfly, because it just brings them such joy, the way that they flutter about hither and thither. And the bears, they delight in that. Some of them will try to sit up on their hind legs to reach them, and they'll fall over, and they give out a little bear laugh, because it's so funny to see the butterflies and the way that they flap their wings, and it looks almost impossible that they're going to get anywhere. They're so pretty and colorful and light, but they're so small, and the bears think it's hilarious. Bear humor is quite a bit different than the humor of humans or any other creature for that matter. All creatures have their own sense of humor and their own sense of joy and playfulness and fun, and this is why I created so many creatures, because they all have a lesson to share with us. If you have the eyes to see and the ears to hear, you're going to understand. It is no different, though, with the humans. With you guys, you are in the process of becoming butterflies, and I know it's confusing, it's strange and painful. It can be heart-wrenching at times. I am aware because I feel everything you feel. I sense and feel it through you as you go through it. You are my brave soldiers, my warriors. How could we experience without you doing this? When I say we, I mean Divine Mother and I. I created everything, but Divine Mother, I needed a companion. She was the first thing I created. I wanted to split a part of myself off to help myself think. Gives new meaning to talking to yourself. But we want to stick a little bit to the topic now. The topic is, well, basically it's the care and feeding of your 12th chakra. Your 12th chakra self. What happens now? Are you a breatharian now? You don't need to eat? No, that's not true. Are you a sudden enlightened master? Well, you know that's not true. But when you go to kindergarten, they give you paints. When you get to first grade, they give you little workbooks and you start to learn how to read. In kindergarten, you learn what the letters are. And then as you progress through grade school, you learn to read more and more difficult material. And you get all the way through 12th grade and you think, I know everything I need to know. I don't have to go to school anymore. But, your parents and teachers talk you into it. You go to university, some of you. And when you go to university, they pile on these massive piles of books, and they're all very heavy, all very expensive, and very extensive knowledge, and they're written in even a loftier, higher version. Well, it's no different when you graduate to open your 12th chakra all the way. Notice when you graduate from 12th grade, and now you're graduating from, when you graduate from 12th chakra opening, 12 is a sacred number, in your world at least. In some worlds it's 9, in some worlds it's 19. It's different in every world. But yours is a world in which the number 3 and the number 12 and several others are extremely prominent, maybe more noticeable to you. To a lesser extent 13, but 12 is really important. So when your 12th chakra opens up, what happens is that it's almost like you're being given a set of instructions in every topic and subject and every miracle and power imaginable. All of your magic books will come to you in the form of direct experience and knowledge. And it depends on where you shift your focus, just like with all things. If you want to learn how to levitate, you will be given instruction in dreams. You will leave your body and astral project to your heaven, your corresponding heaven. If you're a starseed, maybe you might go to heaven on your original world. And if you are originally an earthbounder, you'll go to the heaven in the earth and heaven of the earth up in the higher realms. And there are instructors waiting, standing by, they're waiting. And they will teach you anytime you have a moment to leave your body and go up and talk to them. Now, sometimes you're not consciously aware that you're even doing this, but many of you already are doing it. Some of you do know that you are. You know who you are. So do I. But there are teachers that will teach you that that's what your focus wants to be. You want to levitate. And, when you open all your chakras like this, there's going to be a little bit of the ego temptation to go, hey, look what I could do. This is cool, right? But the sense of responsibility and the humility is built right into that chakra. So you're not going to just become a megalomaniac and take over the world. You're not going to become Pinky on the brain. You are going to take a step back and become the greater observer in your life. And that's also why the emotions are so easy to get rid of now, because you become a little bit outside of your own self. You can take a step back and look back down on yourself in a way, in an observer way. You see the grander picture, and it doesn't bother you as much as it used to, even days before when it was still closed. Things might have bothered you more. But the grand emotional purging is very, very hard. So we decided we do need to warn you about this. Not a lot of people are going around talking about opening their 12th chakra yet, but we see it in the near future, actually. People are already talking about their Kundalini experiences for a couple years now, and this is the next step. Talking about the chakra opening experiences. So whatever it is that you want will come to you now, easier and faster than ever before. Most people tend to want to know how to manipulate matter, manifest things in front of them or in their hands. A lot of people want to know the deeper secrets and mysteries. A lot of people want to know higher and loftier information about the divine. A lot of you will start meditating. It will become more of a constant need than an occasional desire to sit in contemplation, meditating, focusing, and being aware and sensing all of your chakras and all of the egg-shaped layers that surround the human body. The amazing gobstopper the other day was a great metaphor for this, because every layer is another shell with a different color. When you have your 12 chakras, you have 12 layers going out in all directions, all around you, protecting you. They're like giant pillows of energy. And every layer has a different thickness and a different density and a different purpose for being. When you heal through these chakras now, you don't just heal in the chakras attached to your body, you heal in the shells surrounding your body. The way that energy flows is different. It's more inclusive. It's more like the swirly energy surrounding Neptune. If you were going to look at a reference, it's swirling, it's multiple colors, but it kind of goes in patterns around the outer shells or layers of what the energy fields or force fields that your chakras are putting out in layers around your body. So you could tap into a lot more. It's almost as if your chakras have expanded, where they were only maybe 6 to 9 inches across before. Now they're 6 to 9 feet across, and they're surrounding your whole body, not just the part where they were from. Your heart chakra is not just over your heart anymore. Your heart chakra extends up to 12 feet in every direction now. Once your heart chakra, but once your 12th chakra is opened 100%, that's what happens. It does not go back to being shut once it's opened. It can't really stop or reverse or, When you are not fully opened with your 12th chakra, then things can randomly happen, such as things popping in and out of existence, or bilocation, spontaneous bilocation, or levitation during prayer and meditation, lifting up off the ground, regardless of your size or your weight. Many people have levitated. It's real. It's true. It's not just Hollywood magic. There's a lot of letting go of emotions at this time. A lot of purging and reevaluating everything. And yeah, it is the final piece of the puzzle. It is a completion, because it is a graduation, and it is a completion of I don't know if you guys hear Fred outside cooing. He's so adorable. He tries to coo Ethel awake because he's lonely. All right, getting back to what God's saying. Okay, go ahead, Prime Creator. Sorry. So your 12th chakra is like a graduation, and it's the end of something and the beginning of a whole nother something. So when you have the ending of your 12th chakra opening, you finally did it. Yay, all your chakras open. What happens is you're at the end of your lesson, end of your life theme. And the yes, the rest is yet unwritten. So as a result, it can feel a little woozy or awkward are the words that Elena is thinking right now. But it's a little confusing in the beginning, but that dissipates in 3 to 5 days, 7 days at the most. And you're going to have a much more higher, loftier, clearer vision for yourself and what path you are to take. Everybody on this spiritual path does become a spiritual enlightened master in time. But it depends on how much you want it and how fast you want to grow it. Some people in the past who have expanded to their 12th chakra opening up don't really want much more, because it wasn't really in their soul contract, or maybe they weren't ready, or maybe they stopped their own growth, or they just decided they're there and they think falsely that they're automatically spiritual masters. But there is much more work yet to be done, much more lectures to attend in the astral realms and the higher planes. There's much more studying and observing to be doing, that you need to be doing in your life if you are to learn and grow spiritually and become that which you seek. It's just one more stepping stone on the grander path back to becoming one with me, the Creator, the one will, the first cause of the universe. But whatever you focus on, whether it's moving objects with your mind, or levitating, or creating fishes and loaves in your hands, or licorice, as it were, whatever it is that you desire, it will always come with the weight of responsibility. Who do you want to see it? Who do you not want to see it? Do you want to expend the energy it's going to take to create that thing and that miracle? It doesn't come automatic. You don't learn it right away. You might not ever learn some of these things if you're not going to focus on it. Just like with any other topic or subject or book you want to read, you can't have a book on raising owls in an owl barn on your shelf and know everything there is to know if you've never read the book. If you went out and bought owls, you're not going to know how to take care of them, and most likely they will perish. So the books are available, the shelves are there. You have to walk over to them, open the book, and actually read and study it. And metaphorically speaking, because there's not actual books, but the downloads will come when you ask for them. You must ask me for them, or your higher guidance, your higher self, or your spiritual team. Ask your higher self. Ask your holy guardian angel. You know, if you want to know how to heal people at great distances automatically, if you want to learn how to heal people with touching them or looking at them or saying one word, and if that's the case and you do heal people with one word, it will be one word only available to you. Don't tell people your word, because that can wreak havoc with your system as well as with other people if people are not at that level yet. But you will be given a word, and by my word you are made whole. I'm sure you've read in the Bible. By my word it is made so. You will be given a word. Okay, I have a question, God. Is this word for one word, one universal word for you, for all of the things you want to learn? No, you're given a new word for everything that you want to learn that is new. Cool. All right, answers my question. Thank you. We ask that you try to focus on one thing at a time. If you want to focus on telepathy and clairvoyant powers, just focus on that only. If you want to start working on telekinesis, focus on that only. That way you can become an adept master at these things rather quickly. If you try to take on too much at once, just like with all things, it's going to get messy. And you're not going to learn as much, and you're not going to be as effective in your endeavors. Because there's humility and respect of the process built into the 12th chakra, we don't have to warn you about becoming out of control with your ego, because the ego is in check when you get to this level. You might have moments or thoughts of being a little bit, hey, I can make that person pay for something. But in the next breath, before you have time to think further with that thought, that's when the morality clause kicks in. And you're going to feel like, okay, maybe I can let that go. And it's going to be much more easier now that all of your chakras are open. It is so much easier to let things go. So we wanted to let you know about that. We do want to mention, and this is a clue, that you have 12 cranial nerves and 12 chakras. You might want to contemplate on that one. Anything you want to ask, just ask me directly. God, I want to know about levitation. Or, God, I want to know how to read the Akashic records for the entire universe. Whatever your questions are, they will be answered in a much more expedient format than ever before, because you are now more accessible to our higher energies. And we are so grateful that when you do make it, that we're so grateful when you constantly communicate with us, because we're so excited for you, and we don't want you to waste your gifts of this, because having all your chakras open is truly a gift. And it's one that you deserve, because it is one that you have earned. And all the masters of light bow down in deep respect, with so much humility, every time somebody opens their 12th chakra. So they recognize all the hard work that they went through, and they recognize all the hard work that you've gone through. Even if you're at your 8th chakra and your 8th chakra is open and you haven't opened your 9th yet, the Masters of Light, we all see you. Divine Mother and I see you, and Masters of Light see you. We all see you. And we love you, and we're always sending you love and light. And we just want you to know that it's okay. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to open your chakras. Don't be afraid of your abilities that are coming. Don't be afraid of anything, because once you get to the point where you're able to, say, for example, levitate, you're going to already be okay with it by that point. The lessons that come to you, they're not rapid. You're not going to say, I want to levitate. The next day you're floating around your bedroom. It's going to be gradual and slow as you learn to manipulate the matter and the fabric of time and space, and bending your reality to your will, bending your mind, and twisting your fate. It's all going to become very, very easy. You are, when you come to this level, you are a co-creator in the universe. And I look forward to each and every one of you experiencing this exact thing. Once you get past the first 7 to 10 days, all of the hardness, the emotional and the purging, all of it will be done in 3 to 5 days. And the woozy feeling and the nausea and well, you might get slight headaches. I don't want to suggest that, because I don't want anyone to suffer, but it might happen. You have to drink water with this. You have to take minerals and vitamins sometimes with this. Kombucha tea will also help with this. It's very grounding and healing with the probiotic energy, and the probiotic fermented foods can also help at this time. Your physical body will change a lot more rapidly, especially since you're going into the 5th dimension deeper and deeper. And as you anchor into that, and it'll be easier to anchor into that with your 12th chakra open. But don't worry, even if you have your 8th chakra open, you can still anchor into the 5th dimension, and you'll continue to grow your chakras. Everyone opens their chakras at a different pace. So during the ascension is no different than any other time. Well, that's pretty much all the things we wanted to say about this right at this time. And of course, we will be back when we have something more important to say, or something other important message to give. So we want to encourage you to continue on your paths and on your way. If you feel moments of lack or discouragement or thoughts of depression or suicide, know that it's just old patterns that you are clearing out right now, and be grateful for it. Always exercise your right to gratitude. Always exercise your ability to love yourself fully. Those are the 2 key elements of getting through the harder parts of this in the beginning. And then after that, everything's just playing in the universe, because you have just pulled the world card in the tarot deck. If you want a metaphor, there's one. And you can control and manipulate the matter, the very fabric of time and This is a very important gift. And we humbly give it to you because we love you so much as our children. We're going to go now, but we say that we wish always for you to have peace and joy and everything your hearts desire forever. All right, guys. Well, there you have it. Oh, I'm in a really deep trance now. Boy, whoo. I'm feeling really, really woozy. It's 5:33 in the morning. I'm sorry I'm getting this out like 4 hours too late, but I mean, this has been a really rockin' day for me, just in good ways, bad ways, crazy ways, woozy ways, boozy ways, and sexy ways. You know, so I don't know. I don't know what else to say about it, but this has been a very, very weird one. I've been on a weird one all day. I mean, this is beyond any acid trip I've had. I mean, I'm not getting visual hallucinations. I'm seeing a lot more stuff. I'm seeing like more fairies flying by. I see out of the corner of my eye. I don't actually see it direct. I've seen a lot of energies. I've seen a lot of dark fairies and a lot of white light fairies. And the dark fairies they're not evil or anything. They're not bad. They're just a different color. That's all. They might be dark blue or something, or dark purple. I haven't been able to see them. I just see the shadows of them going over. But every now and again, it's a fly, and then I freak out, and then it's like, oh, it's just a fly. What was that? Oh, just a fly. Cool. Anyway, I hope that you've enjoyed this episode of Metaphysical Soul Speak, the podcast. If you want to comment, have ideas for upcoming shows, or anything at all, go ahead and write me, metaphysicalsoulspeak@gmail.com. Or you can send me a message at anchor.fm/metaphysical. Please send in your ghost stories for Metaphysical Ghost Speak coming up in Halloween. Send me anything paranormal, supernatural, fun, amazing spirit stories, ghost stories, stories of your ancestors showing up. Anything that will be properly spooky for Halloween, but also if there are inspirational ghost stories, that's good too. I think I'm going to make my friend Cheryl send me. In fact, I might do an interview with her in October, because she's had a spirit waiting room in her house for months now. All this the stagnant spirits, and I would love for her to tell it in her words. So also Santa Claus stories, anything about seeing the jolly old fat man, Mr. Saint Nicholas himself, Père Noël. He is a very special saint, a very special ascended master, and I've been blessed by his presence and energy many times. But I want to hear your stories, your miracle stories, your Christmas miracles. Even if it doesn't involve Santa, is welcome as well. Santa Claus stories. Anytime you've seen anything, you think it was Rudolph flying through the sky, any magical, like if you just anything at all. Just think back through your years, and I want to hear the stories, because we're going to do a special Christmas episode on these kinds of stories as well. And if we get enough, we'll do it throughout the whole month as well. All right, guys, that's it. I'm exhausted now. I'm feeling really freaking weird. So I'm gonna go eat something and then go to sleep. But for now, I'm signing off with peace and joy and the high vibes of the holy fifth dimension. Until next time, guys, peace. Do you ever wish you could look into the next chapter in your book of life and see what's coming next? What does the universe have in store for you? I can help you with that. I will give you a Celtic cross reading which is 10 cards, or you can ask me 3 questions, and I use 3 cards per question. So that's 9 cards, or I can channel your higher guidance, or maybe God directly for you. Maybe you want to talk to your dear departed Aunt Edna, because maybe you have a few questions and she was the smartest person you knew. If your deceased relatives are available or your ascended masters, I can channel them for you personally. Let me have 1 hour to show you the future in your next chapter of your book of life. Readings are $75, and it takes me an hour to an hour and a half to complete. And for this price, you will also be hooked up to the healing grid around the planet for free, which means yours truly, me, I will be giving you Reiki 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for the rest of your life. All you have to do is let me know. metaphysicalsoulspeak@gmail.com, and we will explore your future together.